My beloved child, listen carefully, for these words do not come by chance, but are sent to you like a trumpet sounding from heaven. There is an event drawing near, something you never thought you would face, yet it has been written into the plan of the Creator. I do not speak to sow fear in your heart, but to open your eyes to see that every breath you take rests in my hands. There are moments in life when a sudden turn can change the whole course of the future, and you now stand before such a moment. The world may call it an accident, but in my eyes it is part of a greater design to reveal my power and my love in your life. Remember the words of Scripture, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Psalm 9:1-1. It is I who cover you under my wings, even when you are not fully aware of the danger before you. You have walked through days when you felt forgotten, when silence weighed heavy, and your prayers seemed to echo into nothingness. But now I tell you this, I have never abandoned you. I have seen the silent tears the nights you lay awake, fearful of tomorrow, and the anxieties you could not share with anyone. My child, I was there. Without my hand upholding you, you could not have survived the storms of your past. And it is that same hand now stretched out to shield you from what could crush you. What the enemy intended to use for your destruction will only stand as proof of my faithfulness. As Joseph once said to his brothers, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 5:0-20. Therefore see that danger is not the end, but a doorway to redemption. I am not calling you to a shallow faith, one that only worships me when life is calm. This is the time I call you into deeper surrender, into a bond unshaken by outward turmoil. In this season, every small act carries weight. When I whisper to you to wait, it is not a meaningless delay, but protection for your life. When I urge you to change direction, it is not whim, but my plan to steer you clear of the snare ahead. You must learn to listen to the voice of my Spirit, even when it comes as softly as a passing breeze. The world may roar, opinions may clamor, but only one voice will lead you to safety. Train your spirit to discern between the true and the false. Do not listen merely with ears, but with a soul longing for me. There are those who began with me but did not endure because they took my warnings lightly. They thought that merely bearing the name of my child would shield them from all danger. But I never promised life without trial. I only promised my presence within every trial. When Daniel's friends were thrown into the fiery furnace, I did not extinguish the flames at once, but I walked with them inside the fire. When Jonah was in the belly of the fish, I did not shorten his journey, but I used it to shape and teach him. So it is with you, my child. What you are about to face may not be removed at once, but I will turn it into a lesson that leads you to maturity. Fear will become an opportunity to trust. Pain will become the soil where I plant seeds of hope. Therefore I say to you, do not panic, but do not take it lightly. The enemy wants you either paralyzed with fear or careless in disregard, but I want you to wake up in peace. That peace does not come from knowing every detail in advance, but from knowing with certainty that I am in control. When the waves struck the boat, the disciples trembled, but Jesus said, "Peace, be still," and the storm obeyed. I am the one who speaks a word, and all creation must yield. So even with danger, near walk in rest. Do not let fear steal your wisdom. Do not let panic drown out the leading of my Spirit. Let your heart become a quiet place where my voice can speak unhindered by the clamor of other sounds. My child, I know your weakness, but my strength is made perfect by that weakness. I know your doubts, but there I give you a renewed faith. I know your fears, but my perfect love will cast out that fear. Open your heart and receive. My love for this love not only comforts but protects, guides, and transforms. Danger is not meant to end your story, but to write a new chapter in your journey with me. And that chapter will prove that you never walk alone. My beloved child, look back on the path you have traveled. You will see how many times you thought you would collapse, yet I lifted you up. How many days seemed without escape, yet in that very darkness, I opened a way your eyes had never seen. Do you remember when you cried out for help and deliverance came from an unexpected place? That was no accident, but evidence that I always walked beside you. Now when I warn you of the danger ahead, do not see it as a threat, but as a sign of love. A father warns his child not to frighten him, but to protect him from falling into a pit. So it is with my words I speak. So you may be alert, so you may know I do not leave you alone in this battle. There is an unseen reality that the natural eye cannot perceive. The enemy of your soul seeks not only to harm your body, but to plant fear, doubt, and despair in your mind. But my child, you must know that his schemes have already been exposed. His weapon is deception, but my light reveals all things. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:3-2. That is why I give you my word to be your firm foundation in the storm. When you stand on the rock, what wave can shake you? When you abide in me, who can snatch you from my hand? No power in heaven or on earth can separate you from my love. Let this truth soak into your every breath, so that even when danger rushes in, your peace remains unshaken. But to walk in this covering, my child, you must learn obedience. Obedience not only when you understand, but even when your reason has not yet grasped it. Obedience, not because it is convenient, but because you trust that I am faithful. I told Noah to build an ark in a world that had never seen rain, and he obeyed. I called Abraham to leave his homeland without knowing where he would go, and he stepped forward. Obedience became the key that opened the door to safety. So I do not call you to understand everything, but to trust and walk by my voice. A single turn of the head, a step held back, a brief prayer whispered at the prompting of my spirit, each can alter the outcome ahead. Do not despise what seems small, for it is in those very moments that your safety is secured. You may think obedience robs you of freedom, but my child, the truth is the opposite. Obedience is the path into true freedom. When you yield to my will, you break free from fear's chains and the enemy's control. You are free to live fully in the destiny I have prepared. Resistance binds you, but surrender opens the flow of grace. Remember, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians 3:1-7. And it is this freedom I long for you to experience. Even on days that seem surrounded by peril, do not let your heart be divided. You cannot walk with me and also follow the world. You cannot trust me and still cling to fragile crutches. If you trust me fully. If you follow me, follow with resolve. For the time is urgent, and the days ahead require a faith that is no longer half-hearted. I do not call you merely to survive, but to be a witness of deliverance. Others will see in you a supernatural preservation, and they will know it was I who acted. What was meant to destroy you will become testimony to my power. I know you are weary. I know the battles have left marks upon your soul. But let that weariness remind you that you need me more than ever. Do not search for strength within yourself, you will run dry. Seek your strength in me, for my supply never ends. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:3-1. This is not theory, but promise. And I who do not lie will fulfill every word that comes from my mouth. So, my child, be watchful. Listen. Let your spirit become the compass turned toward my presence. At the first stirring in your heart, respond. At the first warning you hear within, stop. When you see a door closed, do not force it with your own strength, for it is I who shut it to protect you. Every detail matters, every moment carries weight. Do not miss this call, for it is the shield that will cover you from the danger to come. My beloved child, I speak to you once more, be watchful and hold fast to this warning, for it is not merely a simple reminder, but a direct intervention from heaven. There are things about to unfold that no human eye can foresee. and no human understanding can fully prepare for. Yet I, the one who sees from beginning to end, have ordained beforehand to awaken you. If I allow danger to draw near your life, it is not to destroy you, but to reveal a greater glory. For it is in moments of testing that true faith is displayed. It is in the furnace that gold is refined. It is in the storm that I prove myself to be the strong refuge for those who trust in me. My child, do not let your heart be overwhelmed by what you see with your natural eyes. The visible reality is but a small fragment of the greater picture. What determines the outcome does not lie in what is seen, but in the unseen realm where I am at work. The enemy may plot, may set traps, may create circumstances that make you feel as if you are about to collapse, but he never holds the ultimate authority. Supreme authority rests in my hands, the hands of the one who created the heavens and the earth, who holds the breath of every living being. Unless I allow it, no scheme can succeed. Remember my promise. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, Isaiah 5:4-17. That word once again becomes your shield of protection. What I call you to now is not only comfort but active preparation. The nearness of danger is an opportunity to learn how to walk in spiritual sensitivity. Do not think the gentle promptings of my spirit are meaningless. A single pause, a detour, a brief prayer, all these may be the cord that pulls you out of the enemy's snare. I do not need you to become a hero in your own strength. I only ask for your obedience. Obedience is the key that opens the door of preservation. Long ago, it was only by following the exact instructions I gave that Noah and his household were saved from the flood that engulfed the world. In the same way, your survival does not rest on your ability to grasp everything, but on your willingness to obey each direction I give. I know there are times you hesitate, wondering if it is truly my voice you hear. You doubt those quiet nudges in your heart, dismissing them as passing thoughts. But my child, learn to discern my voice. My voice never drives you into despair, but leads you into peace. My voice never stirs fear without purpose, but awakens vigilance within safety. My voice never calls you away from truth, but guides you into life. Learn to listen with your heart, and not only with your reason, for many times your reasoning will try to deny what my spirit is whispering. True wisdom does not come from man, but from my presence. The wounds of your past have made you cautious, reluctant to trust completely. You have been betrayed. You have been disappointed when you placed your trust in others, and now you carry those scars into your walk with me. But I am not like a man. I do not change. I do not lie, and I do not forsake those who take refuge in me. When I promise protection, it is a promise firmer than the mountains. When I speak of keeping you, it is a guarantee that cannot be shaken. Give me the chance to prove to you that my faithfulness is unlike anyone you have ever known. It is precisely when you are weakest that my strength is displayed most clearly. It is when you are most afraid that I will wrap you in peace beyond all understanding. I also call you to step out of half-heartedness. This is not the season for hesitation. This is the moment you must choose, either wholly with me or continue wavering between two paths. The world may offer temporary comforts, but it leaves emptiness in the end. I give you eternal life, true peace and safety, even in adversity. The choice is in your hands, and that very choice will determine whether you enter hardship as a victim or as a witness of deliverance. I desire you to be a witness, so that when all is over, you may stand and declare, "If it had not been for the hand of the Lord, I would not be here." Do not let fear take hold of your heart. Turn fear into a reason to run closer to me. Do not try to solve everything by your own strength, but lift your eyes to the one who holds the future. Remember that in every upheaval, I am your refuge. As Psalm 46 declares, God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in trouble. These are not mere words, but a reality you are about to experience. Hold tightly to this promise, for it will anchor your soul in the days ahead. My beloved child, when I speak to you about impending danger, my desire is not that you should cower in a corner trembling, but that you should rise in the strength of faith. For faith is not the denial of reality, but the power to see through reality into the ultimate truth: I am sovereign. Even if you hear the wind howling, see the darkness thickening, or sense unease lurking around, remember that all these are limited. They hold no ultimate power. The final word belongs to my hand. Therefore, when I warn you, you need not be afraid, but rather stay alert and prepare. Preparation in me is not through earthly weapons, but through deep alignment with my word and the presence of my spirit. My child, the enemy will try every means to convince you that you are abandoned. He will whisper that I have withdrawn my hand, that you are alone in your trials. But the truth is far from what he suggests. I have never left you, never turned my eyes away from you, even when you wandered off. Like a father walking beside a child, learning to take its first steps, I am always ready to lift you when you fall. Like a shepherd who never forsakes his sheep in the wilderness, I guard you against the prowling wolves. Remember my words in Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. This is the foundation for you to stand firm in turbulent days. You do not walk alone. I go before you. I go behind you. I walk beside you, and I surround you on every side. My child, the warning I give is not only about a single event, but to train you for the long journey ahead. A calamity may last only a moment, but the attitude and faith you forge in that moment will mark your entire life. If you learn to lean on me today, tomorrow, you will be stronger not only to face danger, but to uplift others. I have not called you merely to survive, but to be an instrument that reveals my love and power. What you endure today will become tomorrow's testimony. The wounds you carry will become streams of healing for many souls. It is in your fragility that I will pour my heavenly strength, so you may be a living witness that my grace is sufficient for all things. Therefore, my child, regard this warning as a gift. It is not a burden, but heavenly care. A guide does not warn when the path ahead is safe. He warns when there is a cliff or a pit. I, who hold your future, cannot remain silent when I know the enemy lays snares. I love you too much to let you walk unaware. So be attentive in every moment. Do not overlook the small details of daily life, for they may be the key to keeping you safe. A conversation, a delay, a prayer, all can be decisive. Let your ears and heart always remain ready to hear my voice. I know you are asking, if you are in control, why do you allow me to face dangers at all? My child, this question has echoed through the ages. Many think I orchestrate calamities to test, but the truth is I do not create evil. I only permit it within certain bounds to reveal a greater good. When Joseph was sold into slavery, it seemed a disaster, yet I used it to save a nation from famine. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, I turned it into a stage for deliverance. And when Jesus was nailed to the cross, what looked like defeat became eternal victory. My child, what you are about to face is the same. It is not the end, but a transition for my glory to be revealed. Therefore, prepare your spirit. Do not let fear or doubt paralyze you. Let prayer become your breath. Let worship be your strength. Let my word be your weapon. When you pray, you connect with inexhaustible power. When you worship, you change the very atmosphere around you, pushing back the darkness. When you read my word, you arm yourself with a sword to cut down every lie. You will never be powerless if you remain in me. And know this, the enemy trembles before those who truly know who they are in me. He does not fear your efforts, but he trembles when you realize you are covered by the power of Christ. My child, remember this. You are not saved merely to escape danger, but to step into a greater calling. It is in the storm that I will lift you up and set you on solid ground so that you become a light for many. Receive this word as a sacred calling. Do not stop at simply hoping for survival, but reach for transformation and readiness to be my instrument. One day you will look back and see that what seemed like a disaster was only a turning point leading you into a new season, a season of surrender, a season of revelation, and a season of commissioning. Therefore, keep your heart upright. Walk in trust. For what is drawing near is not meant to bury you, but to awaken you. Not to steal your hope, but to draw you closer to me. Not to erase your story, but to write a new chapter filled with glory. I am your God, your protector, and guide, the one who has promised never to forsake you. And I repeat once more, you belong to me now and forever. My beloved child, I want you to grasp a profound truth. Not a single event in your life unfolds outside of my sight. Even what seems unexpected to you has already been weighed and permitted within my infinite wisdom for a greater purpose. The enemy believes he can lay snares of disaster to bring you down, but I, myself, transform those very things into opportunities for your growth, for your training, and for the revelation of my glory. Like a seed that must be buried in the soil before it rises as a tree, so you too must pass through days that feel covered by darkness until new life springs forth from within them. Remember always that I am sovereign, and in my hands even what is evil is compelled to serve what is good. I have not given you faith merely as a comfort when life is peaceful, but as the anchor that holds you in the storm, as the flame that burns in the deepest night. You will never know the true strength of faith until you have walked through trial. It is in those very days that your allegiance is revealed. Some keep faith only when the road is straight and smooth, when all things prosper. But when the winds shift, they turn back in doubt. Yet I call you to be steadfast, so that when the storm has passed, the world will see you still standing, and know it was not by your strength, but by my hand upholding you. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 2:3-4. My child, this is the promise I long to engrave upon your heart today. You may ask, why do I allow you to tread such thorny paths instead of clearing a safe way before you? Beloved, if you had never faced trial, you would never fully know my power. As Israel only knew me as deliverer when they saw the Red Sea part before them, as David only knew me as the mighty warrior when he faced Goliath. It is in helplessness that you perceive my omnipotence. It is in peril that you learn to lean on me rather than on yourself. What seemed poised to bury you becomes the very stepping stone that lifts you nearer to me. And when you stand upon that foundation, no force can shake you. My presence never leaves you, not even in danger. But I long for you to move beyond merely hearing of me into truly experiencing me. You have read of my deliverance in Scripture. Now your eyes will behold it. You have heard my word in sermons. Now you will hear my voice in the depths of your soul. You have sung praises on your lips. Now you will know what it means to worship from the core of your being. This is the journey of transformation, from knowledge into experience, from theoretical belief into living faith. I do not desire that you know me only through books, but that you truly know me as companion, as Father, as Redeemer, who holds your hand at every step. Therefore, do not see the coming event as an obstacle, but as an invitation to deeper fellowship with me, an invitation to recognize my voice more clearly than ever before, an invitation to fix your eyes on what is eternal rather than what is temporary. When all is stable, you are easily distracted, but when the winds rise, you will learn to cling to what truly matters. I close certain doors not to disappoint you, but to lead you to the door I have appointed. I interrupt certain plans not to discourage you, but to direct you to the path of destiny. Trust me, for I never take away without giving something better. See this trial as training. As a soldier is prepared before battle, I am preparing you for a greater purpose. This is not only for you to witness my deliverance, but also for you to be forged into a mighty witness. What you learn in the storm will become the equipment with which you strengthen others in theirs. I will use your experience to give you encouragement, and your testimony will be a light for those who are lost. Therefore, do not only desire escape from hardship, but desire to be transformed by it. Do not seek safety for yourself alone, but long to be an instrument through which many others may be saved. What I now call you to is not fear, but absolute trust. When the winds rise, do not complain. Lift your eyes to me. When the ground shakes beneath you, do not panic. Place your confidence in me. When you do not understand what is happening, do not doubt. Say, Lord, I trust. You know what is best for me. It is in that surrender you will see miracles. It is in that trust you will see the way open. And it is in that faithfulness that you will taste a depth of the Spirit you have never known before. My child, when I allow a trial to approach, my concern is not with your outward strength, but with the posture of your heart. The storm is not sent to measure how much you can endure, but to reveal how you will respond. You may let fear take hold, or you may seize the moment to seek me. In your response, the true nature of your faith is made known. Anyone can say they believe when all is calm, but only in crisis is it revealed whether that faith is truly rooted. I desire your faith not to be mere words, but the very life breath of your soul, your heartbeat, your guiding light in the night. I do not call you to resist in your own strength. It is precisely in your weakness that I display my power. You do not need to strain to prove yourself, but you must humble yourself to let me act. When you bow low, I will lift you up. When you acknowledge your limits, you open the door to my limitless strength. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-1:0. Do not be ashamed of tears or trembling. They are proof that you need me, and it is there. My grace flows most abundantly. The enemy will try to convince you that trial is a sign I have abandoned you. But the truth is the opposite. In hardship, I am nearer than ever. If you could see with spiritual eyes, you would find me standing beside you like a faithful guard who never leaves his post. I do not promise to remove every affliction, but I promise you will never face it alone. Like Daniel's 3 friends in the furnace, they stepped into the fire, yet not a hair was singed, for I was with them. So it shall be with you. I do not promise the fire will not blaze, but I promise it will not consume your soul. And when you step out, others will see that a supernatural covering has been over you. Yes, there will be moments when you do not understand why. You will ask, why did you allow this? Why must I walk this perilous path? But my child, remember, my understanding surpasses yours. You see a fragment, I see the whole. You see only the step before you, but I have already ordained the end from the beginning. If you rely on your limited wisdom, you will collapse. But if you trust in my infinite wisdom, you will stand even when all seems senseless. Let faith replace the demand to understand. You do not need to know everything, you only need to know who I am. And that alone is enough for you to take the next step. My child, the choice you make in this very moment will not only affect you, but also those around you. Others will look at your response to find hope. When they see you do not fall, they will know that there is a greater strength upholding you. When they see you worship through tears, they will recognize a faith more steadfast than all turmoil, and that testimony will shake many hearts. This is why I do not only call you to be saved, but to become a channel of salvation for others. My child, I desire to make you a shining lamp, and a lamp shines brightest when darkness grows thick. Do not fear letting go. There are things I call you to leave behind, not because they appear evil at first sight, but because they are burdens that will weigh you down when you must move swiftly. Learn to discern what comes from me and what is disguised by the enemy. The enemy often comes cloaked in what seems reasonable, in promises of convenience, in the comfort of the temporary. but weigh it under the light of my word. Does it draw you closer to me or push you farther away? Does it build faith or plant doubt? This discernment will keep you from stumbling. Never forget that the most effective trap is not the one that looks like a trap, but the one wrapped in the appearance of something harmless. Let my word illuminate every decision you make. In the days to come, I may change the plans you intended. A canceled appointment, a delayed journey, an unexpected closed door. Do not rush to anger or despair. See them as signs that I am redirecting your steps. What seems like inconvenience may be my intervention to spare you from danger. What feels like delay may be the shield of my protection. Train your heart to surrender every plan to me and say, "Your will be done, not mine." Then you will experience the peace that surpasses understanding, knowing all things rest in my control. Therefore, stand in obedience, keep your heart tender to hear my voice, remain steadfast in faith, for this trial is not sent to bury you but to lift you higher. You will emerge not only preserved but strengthened and made wise. You will become a living testimony for those seeking hope, and you will know more deeply than ever that my love never leaves you, not even in the most pressing moments of life. My beloved face, this vital truth: you cannot walk with feet divided between two paths. Either you choose to trust me, or you let fear dictate. Either you walk in light or drift into darkness. This is the hour of decision, for the days ahead will not allow half-heartedness. You cannot cling to me while grasping tightly the promises of the world. You cannot long for salvation while holding on to weights that crush the soul. If you truly desire to see my protection and deliverance, you must surrender fully. I do not want a portion. I want your whole heart. Only when you yield completely can I work fully in your life. This choice is not about you alone, but about many others. When you choose to trust me, when you decide to stand firm and surrender, you become living proof for those groping in darkness. They will see you and recognize that there is a safe path in the midst of trouble. When you worship me, even in the storm, you are not only preserved, but you become a lighthouse for the lost. Your decision echoes far beyond personal limits. It can save a family, strengthen a friend, even alter the destiny of people you have never met. Do not underestimate the power of a choice, for heaven and hell both know its weight. I know surrender is not always easy. You have grown used to control, to planning, to calculating. And at times you think that if you give me control, you will lose freedom. But the truth is the opposite. When you cling, you live in anxiety and fear. When you release, you step into peace that the world cannot give and cannot take away. When you loosen your grip on the wheel, you will see I am the best driver. When you cease striving to save yourself, you will see I am the mightiest redeemer. Surrender is not defeat, but the pathway to victory. On the cross, Jesus surrendered completely, and that surrender opened the door of salvation for all humanity. So you also must learn to walk that path, for through surrender you will see new life spring forth. The enemy will try to persuade you that surrender is weakness, that trust is foolishness. He will whisper that you must fend for yourself, that I am too distant to care. But remember, that is only deception. He trembles when you truly trust me, for he knows faith shatters the schemes he has labored to build. A soul wholly given over to me is a fortress the darkness cannot breach. So my child, do not heed those whispers. Answer with truth. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:1-3. Let my word be your weapon. When he sows fear, respond with hope. When he sows doubt, respond with faith. When he sows shame, respond with the righteousness I have clothed you in. When you choose to stand in the light, a deep transformation begins. You will no longer see trials as burdens, but as opportunities to grow. You will no longer see hardship as the end, but as the platform to step into a new season. You will no longer live in reaction to fear, but in response to my love. And then you will understand that this trial, instead of destroying you, becomes the catalyst releasing the potential I placed within you. You will discover a strength you never knew was yours, because it does not come from you but from me. I have already given you everything needed to overcome. You are not unarmed in the battle. You have my word as a sharp sword. You have prayer as a direct channel to infinite strength. You have worship as a flame that drives back the darkness. You have the fellowship of faith as an army lifting you up. You are not alone and you are not powerless. You are my warrior marked with the seal of the kingdom. So walk forward with confidence, not confidence in yourself, but in me, the one who has never lost a single battle. Do not let fear paralyze your heart. Do not let your mind be filled with the dark projections of the enemy plants. Fix your eyes on me, the beginning and the end. Remember, calamity does not have the final word. I do. And my word is life, promise, and victory. Hold on to it and walk. Even if you cannot see the full picture, if you know I walk with you, then every step is safe. And when all has passed, you will look back and know this was not just a trial, but the beginning of a new chapter, one where you were transformed, strengthened, and sent into greater purpose. My beloved, I do not send you into battle empty-handed. No, I never leave you exposed to the enemy without equipping you. I am the good shepherd, and I always arm my sheep so they cannot be devoured by wolves. Understand, my child, you are living in a world where the clash between light and darkness is real. And without being equipped, you could easily become prey to the enemy's schemes. But rejoice, for I have given you everything needed to triumph, not by your strength, but by mine. The first thing I want you to remember is my word. My word is not just letters on a page, but life breath, a double-edged sword piercing to the soul and spirit. When you face lies, my word is the light exposing the darkness. When you face accusation, my word is your defense. When you feel weak, my word is the strength lifting you up. Remember, Jesus overcame temptation in the wilderness, not with supernatural displays, but with the written word. Each time the enemy tempted him, he replied, "It is written," and darkness could not stand before the light of the word, so you must learn the same. Do not only store the word in your memory, but plant it in your heart, so when the time comes, it rises as a flame burning away every deception. Yet, my child, the word alone is not enough. You also need prayer. Prayer is not a rigid ritual, but the breath of the soul, the heartbeat of spiritual life. When you pray, you connect yourself to my infinite power. When you open your mouth in supplication, heaven moves, and angels are sent to serve you. Do not think your prayer is too small to be heard. Even your silent groans reach my ear. When you pray, you open the door for me to step in and act, and constant, unceasing prayer keeps your soul awake and strong. Never underestimate prayer, for it is the lifeline that ties your being to heaven. Beyond the word and prayer, my child, there is worship. Worship is not only the songs sung in a gathering, but the posture of an entire life. When you choose to praise me in trial, you are declaring that I am greater than circumstance. When you lift up worship through tears, you are treading upon the enemy, for he cannot endure worship directed to me. Worship shifts the atmosphere, drives darkness away, and makes room for my light to be revealed. Let worship be not only on your lips, but in every act, every decision, every breath. Let your life itself be a living song, and in that atmosphere you will experience my presence in powerful ways. I have also given you fellowship with others in the faith. You were not created to walk alone. You are a part of the body, and when one member suffers, the whole body suffers. When one member is strong, the whole body is lifted up. Do not isolate yourself, for isolation is fertile ground for the enemy to sow lies. Seek out communion, encouragement, and intercession from my other children. Through them I will also speak, strengthen, and correct you. When you are weak, they will lift you up. When you wander, they will guide you back. When you are weary, They will intercede on your behalf. Do not despise this bond, for it is part of the protection I have set in place for you. I want you to clothe yourself with the spiritual armor I have given you in Christ. Gird yourself with truth, put on the breastplate of righteousness, fit your feet with the readiness of the gospel of peace, take up the helmet of salvation, hold the shield of faith, and wield the sword of my word. Every piece of this armor is essential, for the enemy always seeks an opening to attack. If you leave one part unguarded, he will exploit it. But if you put on the full armor, you will stand firm against every scheme. This is not theory, but reality you must practice daily. Do not step out into the world without your spiritual armor, for the battle is not merely against flesh and blood, but against invisible powers. Do not tremble like one abandoned, but walk as a soldier fully equipped. Remember that the victory belongs to me, and you need only to hold your ground in that victory. Use the weapons I have given you, and you will see that no weapon formed against you will prevail. When the storm rages, you will not fall. When the fire blazes, you will not be consumed. When the waters rise, you will not be swept away. For you are not fighting alone, I fight for you, and I have promised I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 1:3-5. Hold fast to this truth and walk with peace in your heart. My child, I do not only want you to know that you have been given armor and spiritual weapons, I want you to learn how to use them skillfully in your daily life. For weapons, no matter how powerful, are useless if they remain hanging on the wall and never put to use. Many of my children know about my word, hear about prayer, are familiar with worship, yet they do not apply these things in their everyday lives. Therefore, when storms strike, they tremble and imagine I have abandoned them. Do not let this happen to you. I want you to become one who trains consistently so that every day becomes spiritual practice, and when trials come, you will not be confused, for the weapons will already have become part of you. Begin with my word. You cannot hope to hold fast in faith if my word does not saturate your heart. My word is like daily food, and if you do not eat, your soul will grow hungry and weak. Do not wait until crisis comes to open the scriptures, for then it will be difficult to hear my voice above the noise of fear. Plant my word in your heart each day, even if only a short passage, and let it become the breath that nourishes your spirit. Just as a soldier trains with his sword daily, so you must train until my word becomes your natural reflex. When the enemy whispers lies, you will answer instantly with truth. When he sows doubt, you will immediately recall the promises I have written. This is how my word becomes a sharp sword in your hand. Alongside my word, prayer must become your constant breath. Many treat prayer only as an emergency request sent to heaven, but I want you to see it as a living relationship. Just as your lungs breathe without ceasing, so your soul must pray without ceasing. Do not wait until you have perfect words. Speak to me as a child speaks to his father. Share your joy when you rejoice. Bring your pain when you grieve. Ask for guidance when you are confused. Seek strength when you are weak. Make every moment a conversation, and you will see that I am always near, listening, answering, guiding. Prayer is not only to change circumstances, but first to change you. When you pray, you allow me to adjust your mind, redirect your path, and open your eyes to what you have not yet seen. Prayer reminds you that you are not the center, but I am the sovereign one. And in that realignment, you will find peace. As Paul wrote, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:6-7. That peace, my child, is the shield that protects you in every storm. And remember, worship is also a weapon. Do not think worship is confined to music in a church service. True worship flows from the heart. When you choose to praise me in adversity, you remind your soul that I am greater than any trial. When you sing through your tears, you declare that your hope does not rest in circumstances, but in the one who never changes. The enemy cannot endure true worship, for it tears apart the veil of darkness he constructs. Let your life itself become a ceaseless song in your actions, in your words, in your choice to live righteously. Such worship opens the heavens and fills your surroundings with my presence. Hold fast to fellowship with others in the faith. I created you as part of a body, not as a severed member. The enemy often targets the sheep that wander alone, for they are easiest to strike. Do not allow yourself to be isolated on difficult days. Seek encouragement and support from the community of faith. When you are weak, they will lift you up. When you lose your way, they will call you back. When you are weary, they will intercede for you. This is one of the ways I protect you through the relationships I place around you. Do not take fellowship lightly, for it is part of the spiritual armor I have given you. I want you to practice watchfulness. To be watchful is not only to open your physical eyes, but to keep your spirit alert. Do not let distractions steal your attention from me. Do not let the noise of the world drown out my voice. To be watchful is to discern the signs I give, to distinguish truth from lies, to test whether a prompting comes from the Spirit or from the enemy's lure. When you live watchfully, you will not be caught off guard, for I will always forewarn you, and when I speak, you will recognize my voice and follow without delay. Train your soul's ear to know my voice, so that even amid 1,000 clamors, you will still recognize your Father's call. Therefore, let spiritual weapons not remain as distant theory. Make them your rhythm of life. Read my word daily. Pray without ceasing. Worship through adversity. Hold fast to fellowship. Live with watchful hearts. Then you will no longer tremble before danger, but walk in confidence, knowing you are covered by the armor of heaven. And when the storm comes, you will not be swept away, but will stand firm like a tree planted by streams of water, with roots deep, leaves unwithered, bearing fruit in due season. This is my will for you, not merely to survive, but to live strong, filled with the life of heaven. My beloved child, I have shown you the weapons of heaven and how to use them, but now I want to impress upon you something even greater, the posture of your heart. For you may know everything, memorize every word, and hear countless teachings, but if your heart is not steadfast, you can still collapse under pressure. Weapons have power only in the hands of a determined soldier. In the same way, my word, prayer, worship, and fellowship release their strength only in a soul that chooses absolute trust. The attitude of your heart is what opens or closes the gate to my presence. If your heart falters, you will yield easily to darkness. But if your heart is steadfast, you will become an unshakable fortress. Steadfastness is not stubbornness nor arrogance. It is the resolute choice to trust me, even when sight and sound seem to declare the opposite. It is clinging to the promise, even when circumstances scream denial. It is the courage to stand alone, even when the crowd chooses another path. It is the spirit of Daniel when he refused to bow before the golden idol, though it meant the lion's den. It is the faith of his 3 friends when they said, "Even if we are not delivered, we will not bow to any image." This is the steadfastness I seek in you, unyielding, not built on immediate results, but on the unshakable certainty that I am faithful. My child, courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward in spite of fear, because you know I am with you. If you wait until fear is gone before acting, you will remain paralyzed. But if you learn to act even while trembling, you will see me transform trembling into strength. Just as Peter stepped out of the boat, still afraid, yet placing his foot upon the water, that single step opened an experience no one else had. So I call you to step out likewise, not waiting for perfection, but daring to trust me, even in imperfection. And you will see that I never abandon those who dare to put their trust in me. Faithfulness is also an indispensable element. Many begin with zeal, but cannot endure to the end. They dedicate themselves for a moment, Then surrender when difficulties drag on. But I call you to be faithful each day, even in the small things. Do not think that only grand acts are significant. Each time you choose to pray, instead of giving up, you are showing faithfulness. Each time you choose to forgive, rather than harbor resentment, you are strengthening the walls of your defense. Each time you choose to read the Word rather than chase after empty things, you are sowing seeds of faith. Faithfulness in small things will lead you into faithfulness in greater things. And I promise you, whoever is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. Luke 1:6-10. Remember, the enemy does not fear your knowledge, he only fears steadfast application. He trembles when he sees you refuse to quit. He falters when he sees you still praying, even in disappointment. He is defeated when he sees you continue to worship, even while tears fall. For he knows that a steadfast soul is a fortress he cannot destroy. You may be attacked, but you will not collapse. You may be wounded, but you will not be destroyed. You may walk through sorrow, but you will emerge stronger because you are clinging to me. Do not forget that your attitude in trial is a powerful testimony to the world. People may not remember all the sermons you heard, but they will remember how you responded in hardship. When they see you do not fall, they will ask, "What kept you standing?" And the answer is me. They will know it is not your strength, but my power within you. In that way, you become a living letter that others can read. I want you to be a witness not only by words, but through a life of steadfastness, courage, and faithfulness. My child, your attitude also determines whether you can hear my voice. A heart filled with fear and restlessness will struggle to discern the gentle whisper of the Spirit, but a quiet, steady heart will recognize my voice even in chaos. Train your soul to dwell in stillness. Let there always be a place of peace within you, even in storms where you can hear me clearly. When you hold this posture, you will not be swept away by emotions but guided by truth. And so you will not lose your way but always walk in the right direction. I call you to cultivate the heart of a spiritual warrior, steadfast in faith, courageous in action, faithful in each step. Do not wait for perfect circumstances to begin. Start right in the imperfection, for it is I who will complete what is lacking in you. You will discover that steadfastness is not formed in a single day, but through many small choices. And each of those choices builds a solid foundation for your future days. Today I speak to you to close this section of equipment. You are not a victim of circumstance, but a warrior in my kingdom. You do not walk in darkness, but in light. You are not alone, for I am with you. You are not weak, but made strong in my power. Remember, the enemy has long been defeated, and you only need to hold your ground in that victory. Put on the right attitude, and you will see that no weapon can prevail against you. I say to you, be strong in heart, for I am with you always. My child, the enemy never rests. He is always plotting snares, always watching for cracks in your heart to insert his lies. He does not always appear with a terrifying face. Often he comes disguised as something harmless, even reasonable. A small compromise, a justified excuse, a careless distraction. All these can become an open door for darkness. My child, danger is not always obvious. That is why I call you to be more watchful than ever. If you take it lightly, you will easily be caught in his swirl. But if you stand firm in truth, none of his schemes can prevail against you. The enemy delights in sowing doubt, for he knows that when faith wavers, you lose strength to resist. He whispers, "Are you sure God is near? Are you sure his promises are true?" He wants you to stare at the delay between promise and fulfillment so that doubt may take root. But remember, my timing is always perfect, and delay never equals absence. When Abraham had to wait years for the promised child, the enemy surely mocked, but in the end I kept my word. So too, do not let the gap become ground for doubt. Let it become the soil where trust grows. Your faith in waiting is the strongest testimony to the world that I am faithful. Another tactic of the enemy is to make you believe you are alone. He wants you to think no one understands, no one cares, no one walks with you. He seeks to isolate you from the community, for he knows a sheep away from the flock is easiest to devour. But remember, I have given you a spiritual family, those who pray, support, and walk beside you. When you are tempted to withdraw, know that this is the enemy's scheme. Instead of retreating, open your heart. When you are weak, seek those I have placed near you. Be humble enough to receive support, for it is in fellowship that you are strengthened. Recall what I have spoken. Do not neglect meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encourage one another. Hebrews 10:25. This is not merely advice, but a strategy to protect you from attack. My child, the enemy also loves to magnify fear. He paints dark scenarios in your mind, paralyzing you before anything even happens. He wants you to live under the shadow of things not yet real, draining your strength for today. But I remind you again, fear does not come from me. For I have given you a spirit of power, love, and self-control, 2 Timothy 1:7. When you feel irrational fear, recognize that it is not my voice. Do not agree with the haunting images the enemy plants in your mind. Extinguish them with my word. Declare truth so that light drives out darkness. Lift your voice in praise so that song shatters the chains of fear. For your worship and proclamation carry the power to tear down the night. Another method the enemy often uses is distraction. If he cannot make you abandon faith at once, he will lure you into countless secondary pursuits, pulling your focus away from what matters most. Excessive busyness, fleeting passions, prolonged trivial amusements, all of these gradually drain your spiritual energy. One day you find that you no longer pray, no longer seek, no longer hear my voice clearly. My child, be alert. Do not let the good overshadow the essential. Place me first, for when I am in the highest place, everything else will fall into order. Remember the words of Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Let this be the compass for every decision you make. My child, the enemy also binds many souls with shame. He digs up the past, repeats failures, and convinces you that you are unworthy to walk with me. He makes you believe that the stains can never be washed away, but this is only a lie. When my son shed his blood on the cross, every sin was forgiven, every burden lifted. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:1-7. You are no longer condemned. You are forgiven, clothed in his righteousness. Do not let the enemy imprison you in chains I have already broken. Rise up in the assurance that you are a new creation, and the past has no power to define you anymore. Therefore, stay alert against all these subtle schemes. Do not naively think the enemy will come in a recognizable form. He will disguise himself in sweet words, reasonable ideas, and seemingly harmless opportunities. But when you are rooted in the Word, when you remain in prayer and worship, you will recognize his lies at once. Then you will no longer tremble, but boldly declare, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Psalm 4:6-1. This is the word of victory, and when you proclaim it, darkness must retreat. The warning I give you is not meant to keep you living in fear, but to prepare you. Walk with firmness, without compromise, without a divided heart. Use the weapons I have given you, and keep your heart always turned toward me. When you stay alert, every plan of the enemy will collapse. When you remain steadfast, he will find no foothold in your life. And when you walk in surrender, you will see that even the very things designed to destroy you are turned by me into a launching ground for greater glory. My beloved child, I have revealed to you the cunning schemes of the enemy and the urgency of vigilance. But now I want you to engrave upon your heart this truth: the enemy has long been defeated. He is nothing more than a vanquished foe trying to drag as many souls with him as he can. His roar is only the echo of his fear, for he knows his fate is already sealed. Do not tremble before the darkness, for the light within you is far stronger. Remember that on the cross Jesus declared, "It is finished," John 1:9-30. That declaration did not merely close a journey, but opened an eternal victory. The blood has been shed, the price has been paid, the chains have been broken. You are no longer a prisoner, but an heir to that victory. This victory is not something you must create. It is a gift you are called to enter and live within. The enemy knows this, so he strives in every way to make you forget your spiritual inheritance. He wants you to live like a helpless victim, when in truth you have been given authority to trample him under your feet. Do not let his lies bind you. Remember my words in Luke 10:19, "Behold, I have given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you." This is not a slogan, but a sacred reality. You have been given authority, and when you wield it in my name, no power can overcome you. My child, this victory does not mean you will never face trials. It means that every trial will become a platform to lift you higher. When the enemy thinks he is pushing you down, in reality, he is helping bring you closer to the destiny I have appointed. When he throws stones at you, I turn those very stones into the foundation of a firm platform. When he sows tears, I transform them into seeds that bring forth new joy. Remember the promise in Romans 8:2-8, "All things work together for good for those who love God, not some things but all things." Not only the pleasant, but even what seems like misfortune is transformed by me for your good. Learn to look at affliction through the eyes of faith. Do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What does the Lord want to teach me through this?" When you shift your perspective, trials will cease to be a burden and will become a classroom. It is in this classroom that you are trained to become stronger, more mature, and more courageous. When you remain steadfast, you will see that the enemy has no power except what I allow. And what I allow is always framed by love and my greater purpose. No scheme can exceed those boundaries. Victory is not only a future outcome, it is a present reality you can live in even now. Each day you can choose to live as one who has overcome. When you open your mouth to declare my word, you affirm the supremacy of light over darkness. When you pray, you summon heaven's intervention upon the earth. When you worship, you bring heaven down into your circumstances. This is how you walk in the victory that has already been given. It is not about striving to obtain, but about holding your position in what is finished. And when you do this, the enemy must retreat, for he cannot stand before a soul that knows to whom it belongs. Do not forget that your victory is not for you alone, but also for many others. When you stand firm, you become a beacon of hope to those who tremble. When you overcome, you become a testimony to those bound in fear. When you shine, many will be drawn into the light. Your victory does not end with you, but spreads outward, multiplying and bringing life to others. This is how I expand my kingdom on earth, through those who dare to stand firm and proclaim the triumph of Christ. Do not look at the darkness and tremble. Look at the light within you and stand firm. Do not let the roar of the false lion terrify you, for the true lion, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, dwells within you. Do not forget that you do not fight alone, for the host of heaven surrounds you. Step forward with boldness, for as you walk in faith, the darkness must recede. You are not destined for defeat, you are destined for victory. Not by your strength, but by the strength of the one who has said, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." I want you to remember this. As a seal upon your heart, victory is no longer distant, but an inheritance already given to you. Hold fast to it, walk in it, proclaim it, and live as one who has overcome, not as one waiting for luck. When you do this, the enemy will lose his power, for he cannot deceive a soul that is awake. You will stand as living proof that darkness does not have the final word, and from you a wave of hope will flow outward, touching lives that are desperate for light. Walk forward in the certainty that I am with you. Remember that every step you take in faith makes the enemy tremble. Remember that every word of truth you declare breaks another chain. Remember that every act of faithfulness you carry out is evidence of eternal victory. And as you live this way, you will see that no accident, no plot, no snare can destroy you. For you do not walk in uncertainty, but in the certainty that I am your God, the victorious, one from everlasting to everlasting. My beloved child, the trials you endure are not meaningless. They do not come to bury you, but to transform you. Every tear, every trembling moment, every night, you sit alone in fear. I gather them all to weave into a greater tapestry. I waste nothing in your journey. What seemed broken will become a new foundation. Wounds that once felt useless will become streams of healing for others. My child, I allow you to walk through trials not because I desire to see you suffer, but because I want you to emerge with wider eyes, a deeper heart, and a stronger spirit than ever before. My child, a seed never becomes a tree unless it first accepts being buried in the soil. In darkness and silence it seems dead, yet life is secretly stirring within. In the same way, the days you spend in trial are the very time I allow the seed of the Spirit in you to awaken. You think you are buried, but in truth you are being sown. And when the time is ripe, new life will break forth stronger than before. My child, it is through brokenness that light can shine. It is through weakness that grace can be revealed. It is through slow steps that you learn the patience to walk in my rhythm. You are no longer who you once were. You are being reshaped to align with the greater purpose I have ordained. Transformation is not only about escaping danger, but about becoming a new person in me. Before, you may have only known how to speak about faith, but now you have truly tasted it. Before, you may have only sung about deliverance, but now you have seen it with your own eyes. Before, you may have only studied theory, but now you have living experience. And it is this very experience that will make you a living testimony to the world. People may argue about doctrine, but they cannot deny a life that has been transformed. They may question words, but they cannot refute a living witness. My child, you are that witness. I have chosen you not only to be saved, but to become a lamp shining for many others. Now I am opening for you a new season. This season is not one of running from danger, but of walking in your calling. You have been tested, and now you are ready to step into a greater responsibility. I have placed within you gifts that you had not recognized before. It was in the darkness that you discovered this light. It was in suffering that you learned compassion. It was in helplessness that you saw how perfect my power truly island. And now I want you to use what you have gone through to uplift, encourage, and lead others. You have experienced shelter, so now be a refuge for those who tremble. You have been comforted, so now be a source of comfort. You have been healed, so now become an instrument of healing. Do not think that you have lost too much in the trial. No, you have not lost. You have only been rearranged. Some things may have left you, but that is because they are no longer needed for the path ahead. You may feel stripped, but in truth I am clearing away so that you may receive the new. Do not grieve what I have taken from your hands, for I only remove to give you something better. Just as a gardener prunes the vine, so have I pruned you, that you may bear more fruit. My child, this is the season of fruitfulness. What you thought was lost will return manifold, but in a new form, in greater wholeness, in greater glory. Trust me, for I never prune to harm, but to prepare for harvest. Do not fear the changes that are coming. They may unsettle you for a moment, but behind the change lies a new chapter. I never allow one door to close without opening another. and the door about to open will lead you to places you have never imagined. There are people you will meet, lands you will set foot upon, responsibilities you will carry, all already appointed. The trial was only a stepping stone, not the end. You are moving into a new era, and I want you to walk with trust, not with fear. Lift up your head, for what is coming is not meant to crush you, but to raise you up. This is my promise to you. For I know the thoughts I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 2:9-1. Therefore let your mind be renewed, so that you no longer live as the old self, but as a new creation in me. Let your heart be softened, that you may love more deeply, feel compassion more strongly, and worship more sincerely. Let your soul be made bold, no longer trembling before the darkness, but standing firm in the light. Let your whole life become a testimony that I can turn all that is evil into good. And as you walk in this transformation, you will not only see your own life changed, but also see the change spread to those around you. This is the very purpose of the trial, to make you into a glorious vessel, through whom my glory will be revealed across the earth. My beloved child, as I open for you a new season, what matters is not only entering it, but knowing how to walk in it and sustain the new life it brings. Many begin with fervor, but then lose the fire along the way. They have seen miracles, they have heard my voice, yet they return to their old ways because they did not sustain the flame within. My child, I do not want you to merely brush against the light only to wander back into the shadows. I want you to keep the flame burning unceasingly, so that the new season does not remain a fleeting moment, but becomes a lasting way of life. That is why I have taught you to be steadfast in prayer, faithful in my word, and unceasing in worship. These are the foundations that will keep you standing firm in this new season. Remember, true transformation does not come from one emotional moment, but from a continuous journey. Just as a soldier does not only wear armor when battle comes, but keeps it on always, so it must be with you. You cannot seek me only in times of trouble, and then forget me in days of peace. If you desire to maintain strength, you must make my presence the rhythm of your everyday life. Learn to hear me in the smallest details, in your work, in your family, in decisions that seem insignificant. When you place me at the center of all things, you will find that the peace and strength of this new season remain with you, not only in special moments, but in the most ordinary days. The new season I give you is not only for you to enjoy blessings, but for you to become a blessing to others. I have lifted you up not so that you may stand alone on the heights, but so that you may become encouragement, healing, and strength for those still in the depths. What you have gone through is not only for you, but a treasure to be shared. Others will look at your scars now healed and realize they too can be healed. They will look at your courage and find hope. They will hear your testimony and believe that I can do the same for them. My child, remember that blessings are not given to be hoarded, but to be multiplied. As you give, the blessing will overflow back upon you. To sustain this new season, you must also learn to guard your heart. Do not let old fears or old habits creep back in. Do not allow the enemy to sow old seeds into a field that has been cleansed. Guard your heart as one who watches over a precious vineyard. Whenever you sense yourself growing cold, run quickly to me. Whenever you see distractions crowding in, remind yourself to return to my word. Whenever you feel your faith wavering, seek strength from brothers and sisters in faith. Do not overlook the small signs, for they are the cracks the enemy seeks to widen. Guard your heart carefully, for from it flows the wellspring of life. Proverbs 4:2-3. One way to preserve this new season is to give thanks in all circumstances. When you give thanks, you not only acknowledge the good, but also declare that I remain in control even over what you do not yet understand. A grateful heart will keep you from falling into complaint and bitterness. It will help you see miracles even in the smallest details. When you pause to give thanks, you are nurturing the seed of faith, and that faith will keep your new season from withering, making it flourish ever more abundantly. Train yourself to give thanks daily in the morning, when you wake in the evening before you sleep, and in unexpected moments throughout the day. Then you will see your life overflow with my presence. My child, another key to sustaining this new season is quick obedience. Many times I speak something small, but you delay because you want to understand the reason first. Yet obedience does not require full understanding, it requires trust. When I tell you to wait a few minutes, it may be the moment I am keeping you from an accident. When I place a burden of intercession in your heart, it may be the very moment I am using you to save a soul far away. When I nudge you toward a small act, remember that in my kingdom nothing is small. Every step of obedience keeps you in safety in the flow of my plan. And as you learn to obey swiftly, you will find that blessings are always with you. I want you to remember that a new season does not mean the absence of trials. But the difference is that you will now face trials with a renewed heart and strength. You are no longer the same person trembling and unprepared, but one who has been trained, equipped, and transformed. Trials will still come, but this time you will walk through them with confidence. For you know that I have rescued you before, and I will do so again. You know that I have never failed, and I will not begin to fail today. The new season is not a season without storms, but a season where you learn to walk through the storm without being swept away. And in that very thing you will become a witness stronger than ever before. Therefore, keep the flame burning in this new season. Remain steadfast in prayer, faithful in my word, living a life of worship, walking in fellowship with the community, and obeying without delay. Guard your heart with vigilance, nurture your faith with thanksgiving, and strengthen your resolve by walking with me daily. As you do so, the new season will not merely be a fleeting beginning, but a lasting journey where you are continually transformed from glory to glory. And from you a stream of new life will flow, touching your family, your community, and even generations yet to be born. This is my purpose, and I will bring it to completion if you walk faithfully. My beloved child, when you step into the new season, I do not only call you to keep the flame alive, but I also call you to become a torch that shines for others. The purpose of transformation never stops at the individual. It is always designed to reach more lives. I did not heal you merely so that you might feel relief, but so that you might become an instrument of healing for others. I did not rescue you only so that you might be safe, but so that you might become a living testimony to those still in captivity. What I have done in your life is a seed, and that seed must bear fruit. Now I am calling you to step out from personal safety into a greater commission. I want you to know that this world is full of souls longing for hope. There are those sitting in darkness who believe they are forgotten. There are those living in chains of fear, convinced that there is no way out. There are those who have lost faith in love because they have never truly been loved. And you, one who has been transformed, who has experienced deliverance, will be the evidence that I am still at work. When they see you, they will see the traces of grace. When they hear you speak, they will hear the echo of hope. When they touch your life, they will touch my presence. You are the letter I have written to the world, not with ink, but with the living Spirit. Do not think you must be perfect to be used by me. It is your very scars that testify most powerfully. It is the places where you were once weak that, when renewed by me, will become your greatest strength. Just as Peter once denied me, but later became a bold preacher, and just as Paul once persecuted the church, but became the apostle to the nations, so too will I turn the very place where you stumbled into the place where you will lift others up. You do not need to pretend to be flawless. You only need to be faithful in sharing what I have done in your life. Therefore, do not stay silent. Do not let old wounds bring you shame. Let them become evidence of healing. Let your whole life sing the song, God has been with me. Your mission does not have to be grand in the eyes of the world. At times it may be as simple as a timely word of encouragement, a sincere embrace, or a quiet prayer of intercession. But do not underestimate these small acts. They carry the power to change destinies. A gentle word can rescue someone from the edge of despair. A kind act can soothe the pain of a broken heart. A silent prayer can shake the heavens. Do not think that I only use you when you stand upon a platform. In the daily rhythm of life, in the smallest of details, I am calling you to be my vessel. Remember that the ultimate purpose is not only for you to be transformed, but for you to carry my glory wherever you go. I have placed within you gifts, visions, and holy burdens. Do not neglect them. Seek to cultivate them for the benefit of many. If I have given you the gift of speaking, use it to encourage me. If I have given you the gift of writing, use it to sow seeds of truth. If I have given you the gift of listening, use it to heal weary souls. You do not need to compare yourself to anyone else, for your portion is unique and vital in my great design. Be faithful with what I have placed in your hands, and you will see doors open that you never imagined. As you step out into this mission, the enemy will try once again to hinder you. He fears when you live in your destiny. He will attempt to make you doubt your worth, to convince you that your voice carries no weight. But my child, do not be deceived. Every word you speak under the leading of my Spirit carries power. Every action born of love has eternal impact. Every step you take in obedience leaves a mark in the unseen realm. Believe that my presence within you is enough to shatter every limitation. Do not let your smallness obscure the greatness of the one who dwells within you. I have brought you out of trial, not for you to sit idle, but to send you into the battlefield of love and hope. I want you to carry light into the darkness, life into the withered places, and promise into the hopeless. I want you to be a stream in the desert, a refuge for weary souls, a sower of hope in barren ground. This is not a burden, but a privilege. To be used by me is to take part in an eternal plan, a plan far greater than yourself, reaching generations you may never meet. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not let insecurity hinder you. Do not let the voices of the world silence you. You are not an accident. You are not the product of chance. You are chosen, beloved, and set apart. I have called you out of trial to become a witness to the world. Live fully in that mission. Let your life be a mirror reflecting the eternal light. And as you live this way, you will not only see transformation in yourself, but also in the community around you. For light never remains in one place. It always spreads, shines, and conquers the darkness. My child, this journey does not end with your transformation or your commissioning. It requires you to walk in full communion with me every day. You may begin with zeal, but without abiding connection, the flame will fade. Many have started in the light, but failing to maintain continual fellowship, drifted into distance and darkness again. I do not want that for you. I want you to keep your steps in the light from now until the end, so that your life will not only be a fleeting testimony, but a faithful journey until your final breath. Communion is not an event, but a relationship. It does not happen only during hours of prayer, but in every moment you live with the awareness that I am with you. Communion means you do not seek me only in the temple or during gatherings, but in the smallest details of daily life. When you walk, I walk with you. When you work, I am by your side. When you rest, I cover you. And when you face hardship, I am your strength. I want you to learn to converse with me throughout the day, not as a duty, but as with a close companion. When you live this way, you will realize I am never distant, but always near, ready to respond at your whisper. My child, to walk in full communion, you must also learn to listen. Do not think my voice only comes as a thunderous sound from heaven. Often I speak through silence, through a gentle stirring, through a scripture that suddenly comes alive, or through the words of another. Train your spiritual ears to discern my voice amidst the noise of the world. As you listen, you will avoid many snares, and you will walk in wisdom beyond human understanding. As it is written in Psalm 3:2-8, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. My child, that promise still stands for you today, if you will listen. Obedience is the proof of communion. You may say you love me, but true love is proven through obedience. Obedience is not always easy, for often I lead you down paths that defy your expectations. Yet it is obedience that brings you to safety. When Abraham obeyed me and left his homeland, he did not know the destination yet. He became the father of many nations. When Moses obeyed and lifted his staff, the Red Sea parted. When the disciples obeyed and cast their nets on the other side, a great catch was brought in. My child, obedience unlocks miracles. Obedience releases power. Obedience draws you into the current of my great plan. And I am calling you to obey not just once, but every day, every step. Walking fully in communion and obedience also means learning to surrender control. You often want to know every detail to chart your own course, to keep command in your hands. But the journey of faith is not like that. Faith means walking without seeing the whole picture, yet trusting that the one who leads knows the way. Faith means saying, "Let your will be done," even when your heart desires otherwise. Faith means placing your trembling hand into my steady hand and letting me guide you. My child, I have never failed, and I will not begin to fail in your life. When you release control, you will find true freedom. When you stop striving, you will find true strength. When you humble your heart, you will see true glory. Remember also that walking fully in communion means allowing me to change you daily. Transformation is not only an event that has happened, but an ongoing process. Each day I desire to shape, cleanse, and renew you. Today I may teach you patience, tomorrow forgiveness, the next day deeper love. Do not think you have reached enough, for growth in me has no end. I will continue my work until you are conformed to the image of my Son. As it is written in Philippians 1:6, He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. My child, let this truth be your enduring hope. When you step into the final stretch of this journey, I call you to live in complete communion with me. Do not allow anything to come between you and me. Do not let fear, busyness, or the voices of this world drown out my voice. Give me the highest place in your heart, and you will see that your life is not only preserved, but also used to reveal my glory. Walk with me, not only today, but until the very end. For I am the faithful one, and I will never leave you. My child, I know there will be times when your heart feels weary. The fire that once burned brightly within you may grow dim under the weight of trials and passing days. You may ask, how can I endure? How can I remain faithful to the end? Beloved, I do not expect you to carry this in your own strength. It is my presence that sustains you. You do not need to strive to hold on to me. What you need is to let me hold on to you. I have promised that my hand will never let you go, and I am the one who keeps you in everlasting love. So when you feel exhausted, do not cling to your own control. Return instead to rest in me. In quietness and trust, you will find renewed strength. Endurance does not come from a single great act, but from the small choices repeated each day. When you choose prayer over worry, you are building endurance. When you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you are raising a fortress of strength. When you choose my word over wandering thoughts, you are deepening your roots. Do not despise these small decisions, for they form the strength that enables you to stand in great trials. Just as an ancient tree does not grow strong overnight, but day by day sends its roots deeper into the ground, so too your daily perseverance will make you unshakable. I know the enemy will try to discourage you. He will whisper that your efforts are worthless, that your prayers are unheard, that your small steps bring no fruit. But do not believe his lies. Every prayer you lift is stored in heaven. Every tear you shed is gathered by me. Every act of faithfulness, even unseen by others, is recorded by me. And in the time I have appointed, all will become a harvest of blessing. Remember what Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Your perseverance is never in vain. It is the foundation upon which you will enter the fullness I have prepared for you. One of the things the enemy fears most is persistence. He does not mind if you burn brightly for a moment, so long as you give up halfway. But he trembles when he sees you standing firm day after day, even without fireworks or strong emotions. A steadfast soul, faithful, even in the ordinary, is the greatest threat to darkness. Do not think victory only comes in great feats. It is when you refuse to quit, when you continue praying, though answers seem delayed, when you keep believing, though all looks uncertain, that is when you have already overcome. Victory is often quiet, steady, like the faithful beating of a heart. To remain steadfast, you must also resist spiritual lukewarmness. It does not arrive suddenly. It creeps in little by little, when joy in my presence fades, when spiritual things become common, when compromise takes root. Beloved, recognize these signs early and return at once. Do not wait until the flame dies out before trying to rekindle it. Feed the fire daily with prayer, worship, and thanksgiving. Keep your heart burning in my presence. Remember my warning in Revelation, "You have forsaken the love you had at first." Do not let that be spoken of you. Hold fast to your first love, fresh, wholehearted, so that communion with me is never a dry habit but a burning desire. Steadfastness also means learning to rise after every fall. I do not expect perfection, but I do expect perseverance. If you stumble, return to me immediately. Do not let shame or self-condemnation hold you back. Remember, it is my grace that sustains you, not your perfection. Each time you return, you grow stronger. Each time you take my hand after a fall, you gain deeper humility, and that very humility makes you unshakable. Do not ever believe that a failure marks the end. It is simply another chance to lean more fully on me. My child, perseverance is not only about today, it is the promise of tomorrow. For I have spoken, the one who endures to the end will be saved. Matthew 2:4-13. This is not a threat, but a promise. It reminds you that the road is not easy, but glory awaits. I do not call you endurance to wear you down, but to bring you into glory beyond comparison. What you suffer now is temporary, but the glory I will give you is eternal. So lift your eyes beyond present weariness. Look to the crown of righteousness I have prepared for you. And when you hold that vision, you will find strength to continue. Remember, you do not endure alone. You have me, you have my spirit, you have the fellowship of believers. Do not walk in isolation, for loneliness makes you vulnerable. Hold the hands of brothers and sisters in faith. Encourage, uphold, intercede for one another. When one grows weary, another will lift them up. When one wavers, another will steady them. This is how I designed it, so that you would never fight alone. Endurance is not a solitary race, but a shared journey as one body. Walk in unity, and you will find strength greater than you imagined. Do not surrender. Do not let weariness, lies, or lukewarmness steal your faith. Be steadfast in each step, faithful in each choice, persistent in each day. And you will see that I am the promise keeper, the giver of strength, the one who carries you to the end. Do not worry about whether you have enough strength, because I am your strength. Simply cling to me and I will see it through. My beloved, you belong to me, and no power can change that truth. Your journey is not a series of accidents, but a plan I wove before the foundation of the world. You have passed through trials, been transformed, been called, and now I call you to finish well. This is not just a reminder, it is an urgent summons. Time is short, and the days are filled with urgency. Do not delay any longer. Rise up, step into the destiny prepared for you, and live it to the very last breath. Do not let your past imprison you in fear or regret. The past has no power to define you, for I am the author of your future. Do not let lying voices convince you that you are not good enough, strong enough, or worthy enough. You do not walk by your own worthiness, but by the righteousness of Christ. He paid the price, He opened the way, He won the victory, and in Him you too are more than conquerors. Hold to this truth, and never let the enemy steal it. Now I set before you two paths, the path of surrender and the path of compromise. You cannot walk both. You cannot hold light and cling to darkness. You cannot call me Lord while idols rule your heart. Choose today whom you will serve. Choose decisively, for hesitation itself is compromise. I say to you, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength. Deuteronomy 6:5. This is not a suggestion. It is the foundation of life. If you give me all, you will receive all in me. The reward is not for those who begin, but for those who finish. The one who endures to the end will receive the crown of life. The one faithful in little will be entrusted with much. The one who stands firm in trial will be clothed in glory on the day of triumph. Not a single prayer, not a single act of faithfulness, not a single tear will be wasted. All is recorded in the book of life. And on the day I return, you will hear these words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." Matthew 2:5-3. Beloved, this is what I long to say to you, and this is why I call you to endure to the end. Do not fear what lies ahead. Though the earth shakes, though storms rise, though darkness thickens, I remain your refuge. Remember my promise in Psalm 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This is an unshakable truth. If you abide in me, no scheme can touch your soul. Weapons may be forged, but they will not prevail. Waters may rise, but they will not sweep you away. Fire may burn, but it will not consume you. For I, the Lord your God, have placed my name upon you, and you are mine forever. I do not call you to a journey without end, but to a race with a clear finish line. That finish is not merely a reward in this life, but eternal life in my presence. Do not trade the eternal for the temporary. Do not exchange everlasting glory for fleeting pleasure. Lift your eyes higher, see the eternal joy awaiting you. And when you fix your gaze there, every present hardship will grow light. As Paul wrote, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." 2 Corinthians 4:17. Hold to this hope, and it will be your strength. I call you to live a life that is wholehearted, uncompromising, without delay. Live as though each day were your last. Love, worship, and serve with all your heart. Keep nothing back. Let there be no regrets at the end of the journey. Give all to me today, and you will see me pour out blessings beyond what you could ask or imagine. For I am the faithful one, and I will never fail you. Stand firm, run the race to the very end. Let my love be your strength, my presence your refuge, and my promise your guiding light. As you do, you will see that no disaster, no darkness, no enemy can stop you. You will move from glory to glory until the day I call you home. And then there will be no more tears, no more fear, no more sorrow. You will enter eternal joy, and you will know that every word I spoke is true. Beloved child, this is my final word in this message. Walk fully with me, endure to the end, and you will see that I am the faithful one who never changes. Thank you for listening to today's message. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue receiving the living words together, strengthening our faith and walking in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.